Yo, what's going on, guys? Jared here. Today I have another deck profile for you, and this deck profile is going to be Unchained post Duelist Nexus. Duelist Nexus brings a lot of very cool support to a lot of old decks and strategies, just like they do every year for the first set after Nationals. So this one got they only got 3 cards for the Unchained archetype, but 2 of them I think are like actual creator cards seem to be for the archetype because I think they're that good. And then the third one is still like very strong in collaboration with like how the archetype works. So this is like super exciting. I think it really brings the deck to a competitive level to where it needs to be, I should say. Hopefully I'm going to be doing a bunch of deck profiles soon for all of the new and upcoming competitive decks that at least I think could be competitive or even fun. I always put it in the title or in the thumbnail if it's fun or competitive and say it in the video. I just love deck building. So hopefully you guys enjoy it too. And I'm gonna jump right into this. Okay, guys. So here is the Unchained list. It looks a little different than most than I've seen online. I've looked up a lot of profiles online. Most of them seem very similar, and I feel like there's a lot of underutility of certain cards. And this is all through testing I've done as well with my brother Vince. We've both been testing the deck a lot. His build looks a little bit different than mine right now. But this is just where I've landed personally. And I'm going to explain some of the ratios. I know it looks kind of weird. The first weird one I want to go over is the 3 Abominable Unchained Soul. This is usually a 1 of in a lot of people's decks. And it's kind of like a high risk, high reward type of 3 of, right? So this card is used primarily to dodge Ash Blossom. That is the goal of the card, where if you go say you draw Aruha and then you have a trap Abominable or Escape, you can use and if they have an Ash Blossom, right, that's like the normal scenario. They ash this, and sometimes you don't have the extender to keep going. You might not always have the dog or the Rakia to keep going. So what you do is you chain the Unchained Soul onto the trap, and that gives you an extra body, and it forces through the first Unchained activation, which is usually the most important one, because usually it just puts them on better habit, and it wastes an effect. So if you can protect one of them and get the extra body on the field, that is huge. Also, the 3-0 for this is because in the side deck, we are playing 3 of the Degenerate card because this card's legal until probably a ban list comes around. So we're going to use it. That's how competitive players think. So this is the only in archetype dark monster that meets the Eradicator restriction or condition, I should say, for itself, other than the Abomination. But we don't want to put all of our resources into this. We could just summon this either through itself or through another Unchained and then make this live. But so those 2 things combine, and this is like a very strong play through a board type, going second. This is a very good going second card. Like playing through a board, they have to respect it because it doesn't target when you discard to destroy something. It can still chain block, like I said, and it's 3,000, which is huge. Like those are all big factors in this. And then for the new cards, this is where I'm this card specifically is the one I love so much. Like this dog, Unchained Soul of Shavara, which I'm just going to read it real quick, which is during the main phase quick effect. So either player's turn, you can target a set card or fiend you control, destroy it, special summon it, and then it has a restriction while it's face up. You can't summon except for fiends. And then if it's sent to the graveyard from anywhere, you can set a Unchained spell or trap directly from your deck. So this card opens up so many possibilities with the way of how this deck works and operates now, and gives you more interruptions with in tandem with the Exceed monster as well, or not the Exceed, the Link monster. So this card is the fact that you get another starter and way to play from the hand rather than just only being a Ruha is huge. So 3 of this card, obviously. The other new one is 1 copy of Shyama. This is like a hard brick of the deck, and this also is very helpful with Shyama is helpful with Abominable playing 3 of this because you can pitch these bricks out of your hand so that they're live again. Like Shyama specifically being live again, and then the big dog just get out of your hand completely. You can revive it back later, or I know if it's in the hand, you can summon it off of the little guys too, but it's just not optimal usually. But so the Water Shyama, while it's on the field for a random effect, you can target a card you control, destroy it, and then you can destroy a spell or trap on the field. Again, this is not target, so against back row decks, this is really annoying. It forces them to do something on the spot. And then if it's in the graveyard for the more important effect, you can target a fiend monster or a set card you control, destroy it, and then special summon this, but place it on the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field. Again, very, very strong card. It just sucks that there's not a lot of good ways to get it out of your hand, but when it isn't in your hand, this card feels amazing, and that is the only downside of this card. I really, really love it. I do play the one copy of the dog still. Me and Vince are considering cutting this card in the main deck because going, like, if you see it going first, if you draw it at all, it's terrible. But like going first, it doesn't like do anything. You're just playing a brick that doesn't actually like accomplish anything. So it's like you're playing Garnet, but like without like the Brilliant Fusion combo going first. When like, and you go first with this deck, you're setting up like 3 to 4 interruptions usually anyway, and it doesn't need this card, so you don't really need it. And going second, you're not really like, it's very good going second, but it's like you don't want to like depend on it. Like, I don't know, like I feel like going second you're at a disadvantage anyway, and this deck has a better time going second than most, so I don't think it's still even worth it just to play the brick, and that it's a very bad brick. So this might be cuttable. We're still figuring it out through testing, but for now we still win here. And then to go on to the twins now, we have 2 copies of Sarama, 3 Rakea, and 3 Aruha. These are also the normal summons of the deck. The Rakea and the Sarama. Kept it at 5. I want to keep it at 5. I think that's a good number. I don't want to brick on too many cards I can't use in my hand. And 5 seems to be the sweet spot for normal summons in decks. So Rakea and Sarama, I think, are the perfect number. I saw that there was builds playing Tour Guide and Phoenix Rondo Warrior. It's also good. I have no complaint over it. I think it's fine, but that's just my math brain, how it works. And for the only actual hand trap of the deck is 3 copies of Imperm. I just don't want to play in the People's Triple Tactics Talents and Thrust. I want to keep those dead. I feel like they're going to be very popular. As you can see, I'm playing them myself. And I don't want to play into something like that if I don't need to. So Imperm being very good at not doing that. Also, this is a good 6-card draw as always. 3 Abominations Prison. This card's nuts in this deck. Rhoda and can special from the deck if it's destroyed. And then the other Unchained Spell and Traps is the 6 traps. I don't play the spell. I don't play Wailing right now. Again, I think it's fine going second, but like as an extra name, it's not bad. Like sometimes you need extra names to special. So I don't think it's bad to play like maybe 1 or 2. I would consider it if you wanted to. Like maybe you can cut this dog for a Wailing and you get more real cards in your deck. Because you're not even using Wailing for like the first effect really, right? Like it's not for that. You're using Wailing just to destroy it as an extra card to get the effect. Because sometimes you go through Escape and Abominable and you need a 3rd Unchained Spell or Trap to be able to destroy. So I don't think it's bad. I think it's like okay. And okay, so past the Unchained cards, now for like the non-engine. 3 Prosperity, I'm just going to get that out of the way. It's just easy. This card's insane. Again, until a Banlist hits it, it's ridiculous. 3 copies of Thrust. Thrust is like one of the craziest cards in this deck, I think, because it actually searches combo pieces that you can use even if your opponent doesn't have a monster. So normally you can't like combo with cards with Thrust. Usually it would get like trap cards like Imperm or D-Barrier, and like that's all it would do, and that would be the punishment for Thrust. In this deck, this card actually gets combo pieces, so you can actually set the trap cards with Thrust if you get like Ash Blossom or something. And then if you have Aruha or Shavara in your hand, you can actually just Thrust for the name you didn't use yet, and then pop it and with the cards, and then it actually like synergizes really well. Like that actually works. On top of that, you can also just set normal cards. Like these cards are actual interruptions, and then you can also set like Imperms. And then I have a plethora of normal spell cards that you can also search that I think are good enough in the metagame currently that like can warrant themselves being here. We have 1 Dark Hole, 1 Dark Ruler, 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, and 1 Triple Tactics Talent, and then 1 Call by the Grave. But this isn't a normal spell. This is just for like Shifter, Ash stuff. But these 5 here I think are very strong. You could also argue for Herald of the Abyss. I think that's also a reasonable decision to play for Pearly. I think it's a good trade 1-for-1. Maybe that could be the Dark Hole, and like you just side the 1 Dark Hole, main Herald Abyss, or vice versa, just to be able to deal with a Pearly board, because Noir can be annoying. But yeah, I think all these cards are good metagame calls. Foolish Burial is for you can dump Shavara as a trap, and then it's like you see it as like an Unchained trap essentially. I think it's fine. You could also dump like the water guy if you want to, so you have, it's variable enough to where I like it in the deck. Duster, like all these cards are just good right now. They're fine in scenarios. I don't want to play multiples in my main deck. This is just fine. Moving on, for the side deck currently, we have 3 copies of Ash for Branded, 1 Pank, 3 Kaijus, good for going second. Pearly, again, for the Kaijus. I think they're fine. There's like a Dragon Link's getting popular again, so you need to out the Link 5. Dark Ruler, 2 Dark Ruler, 1 with the extra Dark Hole. Again, this is for going second against some combo decks, just being able to clear them. Evenly Match is fine against back row as well, just to be able to clear them. Good with Duster and Thrust. to be able to set it. And then, as I said before, 3 Eradicator because this is the best going first card in the game right now. For the extra deck, we have 2 copies of High King Caesar, 1 Access Code, 1 Boral Sword, 1 Unicorn, 1 Trisvania, 2 Unchained Abomination, 3 Unchained Soul King Yama. This is the other creative card that I think is just absurd. Is if this card is special summoned, not link summoned, so you can special summon this back off the trap card as well and be able to trigger this effect. Very relevant again. You can add 1 Unchained monster from your deck to your hand, deck or graveyard to your hand. So it also plays around Jordan Lockbird on top of that. Like these little things that I'm mentioning, like they sound so minor, but like in like we'll go to like a tournament setting of like over a lot of rounds. These little like bonuses that are in these card effects are super important, and they come up more times and win you games more times than you really expect them to. And then the other effect is if this card you control is if a card you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, battle is very important as well. And while it's in the graveyard, you can banish it, special summon a fiend from your hand or graveyard. Actually, I didn't even know the special from hand too. That's crazy. Again, another little bonus thing I didn't even know about. So they can actually get the disaster out of your hand as well. Again, super important. Or graveyard. Graveyard's the main thing. Then you can destroy 1 card you control. So you can special summon back out a name and then destroy that name, and then you can special summon something from your deck if you wanted to, or just like special something. You can special summon back like a rage that you might have used and then pop something else. Like there's so many ways to use this card. It's like so versatile and it's so good, and it's like this and this are like everything the deck needed. And then like this is like a nice bonus to be able to add a nice DDD line for this card's crazy. Being able to negate like multiple interruptions in 1 card is absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, that is Yama, crazy card. 2 copies of Anguish and 2 copies of Rage. These are all the old ones. I'm not going to read through them. It's just this deck is one of the best at playing second, I would say, as opposed to other normal competitive decks. I think that they struggle more. This deck has a lot of natural going second cards, which is extremely powerful, as well as setting up huge board states that are very hard to deal with. Again, the Caesar is like being 2 interruptions in 1 card is ridiculous. So this is detached to negate anything that has the effect to special summon essentially, not once per turn. So that's important because you can use 1 Shavara on your turn, then you can summon a 2nd Shavara and have it be under the DDD. Use the when you use the effect on your opponent's turn, you use the Shavara that you detached and to be able to set another trap card. And then if like it sounds so crazy in my head, because then if you have another Shavara in your hand, you can use the Shavara in your hand to pop the trap that you just set with the other Shavara, and then be able to what's it called? Special something from the deck, like again the Abominable Unchained Soul to pop something if you wanted to, or maybe trigger a Yama in the graveyard. There's a lot of scenarios and different things you can do. So it's like it's weird. This deck is so linear, but at the same time so flexible. I think this is a deck that if you play it for a long time is extremely rewarding. And it really rewards, good play and good, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Fundamentals, if I had to put it into words. So, again, this is a different take on the deck that most people are going. I feel like this is something that is very unique and different. And I know this is not very budget-friendly with paying 3 Thrust and Prosperity in the main deck, but I truly think this is, in my opinion right now, one of the better versions of how to play the deck. So, yeah. I can make a budget version if you guys want me to make a budget version. I don't think it'd be that hard with judging of how this is. Being able to cut Prosperity, Thrust, those are like the only really expensive cards. I think Access Code's still worth something. But this deck could easily be less than like $100, I bet, if to be honest. So overall, I hope you guys enjoy the deck profile and the explanations. And I'm going to be coming out with more profiles hopefully soon for more Duelist Nexus archetypes that got in support, because there's a lot of them. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video and hope you guys enjoyed.